Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here for some more Nothing But Netflix. It's week 2 of Squid Game, the challenge, season 2. And here I am with the guy that I'd play marbles with anytime. It's Chappell. Chappell, how are you? What would we do with the marbles? How would we do this?
I don't want to play marbles with you. I don't want to play marbles with you. These people need to stop playing marbles with their loved ones. We did this already. They didn't see this coming.
But how would we do it? What would be, okay, we got the bag of marbles. What do you want to do? Who could fit the most in their mouth?
Damn, but I'd lose. I know we gotta do something I could win. Something else. I don't know. We always get very interesting games, but I kind of like the one. I think somebody was just like, "Here, you take them." Like that would be the game I would play. I'd be
Perla
like, "Here, Rob."
and her brother.
Yeah, I would be Perla's brother. I'd be like, "Here, Rob, take my marbles. You got it."
Okay. All right. We're going to talk about, we are down to only 5 people left heading into the finale of Squid Game, the challenge, which I believe will be dropping next week on Tuesday. We'll do a podcast, talk about it all, and see what happens when we find out who wins $4.56 million here in the final episode next week of Squid Game, the challenge. We'll be talking about episodes 5, 6, 7, 8. Full spoilers for the full week of Squid Game, the challenge. How you doing today, Chappell?
I'm all right. I'm very excited. I've been catching all of the social media buzz from Squid Game, the challenge, seeing all these green jumpsuits everywhere, everybody promoting their time on the show, but then also even giving shout outs to people that we didn't even see in the first batch of episodes because there's just so many people to go around. Squid Game gives me hype. I think the editing of the show is really, really good. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. And barring any rock, paper, scissors game for next week, I think we're having a really good season.
Yeah, I think I don't remember really how I felt going into the finale of last time. I feel like we kind of know a little bit more about just about everybody here in the final 5. So it'll be interesting to see. We have really a big feud between 2 people going into the final 5. So maybe some big fireworks to come as we get it all sorted out. So we'll definitely do some speculation as we get into next week's activities. But we ended up with going from Mingle into Marbles this week, and lots of excitement. We got a brand new game, the Slides and Ladders game, not trademarked.
Yeah, I was like, wait, why does everybody act like they know what this game is? It's Shoots and Ladders. This is Shoots and Ladders, a game from my childhood that I actually haven't seen since my childhood. I don't know if they don't make that board game anymore.
I think they still do it.
Really? Are the kids playing Shoots and Ladders still?
So I watched these episodes with my 10-year-old was watching with me, and I asked him, Shoots and Ladders, do you play that game? He said he knew what it was. So I guess it's still happening. It's still a thing.
Next season, we do Hungry Hippos and just bring in some huge hippopotamuses.
I mean, that's actually a very dangerous animal.
Is Squid Game not a dangerous game? Is this not a game for your life?
The world's most dangerous game, they call it.
Okay, well, it can't be more dangerous than bringing in the most dangerous animal alive, which is the hippo. I'm just saying we can start talking about different games for next season because based on what I'm seeing, the popularity of Squid Game, the challenge, is only growing, and there might be a season 3 coming. Now, at least my fingers are crossed.
Oh, I mean, it seems like a season 3 is almost certainly coming because that there is a contest I just saw that they are going to vote somebody in to Squid Game season 3. Squid Game season 3. It's in the hands of the fans.
In the hands of the fans. We're going to get one returning player out of the 456 to come back and play next season. And honestly, based on the first batch of episodes, I think it's going to be somebody from them. This second batch, I don't know if they gave us a new fan favorite or a rooting interest or whatever in this batch, but that first batch, we got some hero stories. We got some tragic losses. Even thinking about the way Viper goes out, the way Mark goes out, the way August goes out. There's so many people that we lost that I think, there's some front runners from that first batch.
Well, check this out. So here we go that they just announced this. There's a second chance fan vote. I'm actually surprised that there's not more people from the first Squid Game. Got to fill out 456 spots. You would think that they would bring back some returning players. But who is getting the chance to come back for a second chance fan vote?
I see. Second chance fan vote is cool, right? That is cool. I like it. But I do think you're right about the amount of people who played Squid Game. there's so many people who didn't get any screen time in the first season for sure. But now here we are at the final 5, and there's a lot of people we don't know. And so Squid Game All Stars would be so easy. Just bring back the same people that didn't get a chance to, to make it far into
Well, that's not All Stars.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, it's more like Squid Game Second Chances, right? Yeah, so you bring in the people who really didn't get a chance to make it far, to make a name for themselves. Let's find the people who got the least amount of screen time, throw them back into Squid Game, and then you can hear their story, right? Where we talk about what they did the first time, what they're gonna do differently, and then what it meant, how it hurt when they lost, all that good stuff. I feel like it's writing itself. So bring in more returners from Squid Game, because I don't know, we don't know them people. This is a bit like first time for us.
Yeah. The thing about Squid Game is there's people we really know and there's people that we don't really know. We could get to the final 10. It's like, who is this person? How did they not get any screen time?
Yeah, well, they're doing a little bit better, I think, this season, just a little bit better. With there are some people that we've been seeing since the beginning who might be getting a hashtag winner edit, if there is one to have in Squid Game. And then after we cleaned up the loose ends from part 1, they gave us almost like, okay, now here are your people for Act 2, because many of the people that we have in this last act, we barely talked about them in our first podcast.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go through it. I also have up the official Squid Game cast list, 1 through 456. So anybody you want to say, give me a number. Give me a number.
Well, I mean, isn't there that one number that doesn't have a person? Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, I believe there was like an invisible. No, there's like an invisible person that nobody can find on Squid Game. I can't remember which number. I'll look it up. But yeah, I remember looking at the cast list and being like, why is this person grayed out? Oh, yeah. That's what it is. There's this random contestant omitted in the graphic. He is, well, it's not a number, obviously. I can't tell. Like 6 or 7 before Jeffrey.
6, 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you want to look at?
Look at Tunisia.
It goes by number. It goes.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't give me the list.
They
didn't give me the list.
She's the unlisted number for Tunisia.
The unlisted number. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about it. Here we go. Marbles. We jump right back into it, and all of our pairs from Mingle are ready to go. We get a bunch of pairings of people that we know. Certainly, we have our father and daughter.
Yeah. I think Squid Game and the Marble game is probably the smartest thing they've ever done. I think that, if the game is getting stale, one thing you can count on is Marbles, because you're going to have all these storylines of these people who know each other going into the game, or who've met each other and now created these strong bonds, who just happen to be standing next to each other, who can play marbles. And then you have a built-in storyline where you rip these people apart. And we get that with the daughter and the father, and we get that with the siblings.
Yep. And really, the better you know the person, the less marbles you play. When it's a complete stranger, it's like, all right, here we go. Best of 19. Let's play the game. When it's people that know each other, it's like, all right, let's talk. And then in the final 30 seconds, we'll figure out what we're doing.
Yeah. Perla and her brother were like, so let's just wait, Hey, what are we rushing through this for? And I agree. If you know that the moment you play this game and it ends, someone's going to die, it's like, okay, there's a time, clock, winding down. Spend some time with your loved one before you kill them, and then go try to get that money.
Spend some time with your loved one. So what is Perla's brother name? I don't want to be disrespectful and just call him Perla's brother.
I'm not being disrespectful. They didn't tell us his man's name. His name is Jeffrey. She called him Jeffrey after he was off screen, but he didn't get any screen time. And I think I love that he kind of sacrifices himself for Perla, because why wouldn't he? He says, like, you have all of these connections, you are well ingrained in the show, basically, and I have just been quietly sitting over here, kind of, laying low, but they're not anybody who would ride or die for me the way that they have people. She has shooters. And so Jeffrey, we lose him to self-sacrifice, almost, to just give his marbles to Perla so she could go on and win it for the team.
I mean, right now it's looking like a good move, because Perla is at least you would say a 20% chance to win this thing.
Yeah. So 283. Yeah, 283 makes the choice to 72 makes the choice to let No, it's 283. 283 is Jeffrey. Jeffrey makes the choice to let Perla go ahead, and we will see Perla throughout these next batch of episodes make it all the way to the final 5.
Yeah. So good for Perla. We had a moment with another guy that we've been watching closely, Eric and Melissa. They were partners. We liked the secret alliance. Eric, of course, he lied about his birthday. He lied about the baby. One of the things that I have noticed in Squid Game, the challenge, there seems to be this overwhelming desire to, hey, I was lying about a thing, but I'm going to tell you for no reason
None.
what my lie is.
Made no sense. Made no sense at all. This did not have to happen. You did not need to do this, Eric. So word on the street is that Eric and Melissa know each other from outside the game as
I didn't
well.
know that.
Yeah, they've been in the orgs. So they were in the org streets together. And so they come in and almost like in a built-in alliance. But I don't think Melissa knew Eric as well as she thought she did, because when he reveals his big secret that he doesn't have a child, it looks like she takes it really hard. She like, I'm fighting for my family and you making up a family. That's not gonna work for me. Now, I want to know, Rob, do you think this is game? Is she like making him feel bad so that maybe he'll just give up his spot?
No, Melissa seemed actually pissed. It's like, what is wrong with you?
Well, are you
Why
monster?
why would you lie about this?
She said, have some humanity. She said, there's the one. He's like, I thought you were a stone cold killer. She said, yeah, but there's a limit, you know? Crazy.
Yeah. So I wonder if Eric was wishing that he would have that back. Although I don't think this was as bad as we're going to see where Steven 183 for no reason, like, reveals that he's won all this money playing poker in the middle of the game. And so this was, okay, one of them's not making it out alive. So unless Melissa was going to run, he's a liar. I mean, this kind of seemed like this was going to go to either go to her grave or it wasn't going to matter to him in a second.
Right. And I think that's the reason why it's like a safe bet, right? Is that like, okay, if I die, then nobody's going to care. And if she dies, then the secret dies with her. As will Steven's $6.5 million secret will be dying with Kate later on. So funny how those things work out.
I wonder if Eric, who's such a reality TV super fan, knows, like, okay, this is either going to be the end of my story and this is my storyline so far that I lied about these things, or this is just going to build it up bigger as I'm going to tell my number one who's about to leave the game.
It's very smart. Just from a TV standpoint, like, I need to have a TV moment. I know that this secret isn't going to leave.
I got to make sure I'm in the show.
Right, I gotta make sure I'm in the show, and if by doing this, that's gonna give us, all the camera people leaned in when he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna reveal my secret." So it does give him a moment in the spotlight, but at the same time, it's like, what's she gonna do if he wins? She's just, all she can do is sulk, and he can go on to the next round to become a bigger character. Or if she wins, as she wins and he dies, she can just go on to move on with her life, and I'm sure they'll be friends afterwards. They're both gamers. They're in the org community. It'll be okay.
Okay. We also spend time on the battle between our police officer 098, and then he is taking on Peter, a guy that we saw he was disadvantaged in the catch game. Here's Peter. We found out Peter wants to open a Burger King if he ends up winning the money. We hear Soph from Survivor said in the preseason, her dream if she won Survivor was she wanted to open up in the McDonald's. Very specific. Peter wants to open up a Burger King.
Yeah, remember when you were on Survivor and you conspire with your cast? No, when you conspire with your castmates to open a Sonic. You remember?
Yeah, I fumbled the bag that Heidi said, hey, we should all get the money and we'll go in together and we'll open up a business. And I could have been a Sonic franchisee right now instead of being a man-child with a talk show.
Rookie mistake, because you could have had both. You could have had both. You could have lost Survivor, got the Sonic franchise.
Sonic.
No, you wouldn't have to work there, because you immediately go on to play All Stars. So you leave that in the hands of Heidi.
And then Heidi, once she gets with Cole Hamels, you mean billions of Sonics we'd be partners in?
Yeah, and then look, RHAP could be that much
generational wealth.
More people should go on reality TV to get fast food franchises.
Whopper, 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 Whopper,
and fake teeth. That was the other thing that he wanted. Peter said, like, I need to get another tooth as well. And I was like, I feel that.
All right. But do you need another tooth?
Gold. Yeah.
Gold tooth. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You know
I get
me.
that. Yeah.
You know, I like the mouth jewelry.
So let's go back to dad. Was it Chad? Chad's the dad and Zoe, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
No.
369, real good time. Then we got her dad also, 370.
This man's name is Kurt, I believe.
Kurt.
Yeah.
Kurt.
Yeah.
Okay. Close
Um,
enough.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah. Did he throw it? Did Kurt throw marbles against his daughter?
I don't think so. I think his daughter is very competitive and she was always going to beat him. But I will say this, I don't think his heart was in it. You know, like I think that maybe, just maybe, he didn't throw it, but he didn't try his absolute hardest. You know, it's like she immediately asked him, like, did you throw it? He's like, no. She's like,
I think
so
he
you
did.
threw it.
I think he threw
You think
it.
he threw it?
I think
He'll never admit it. He'll never
admit it. But he did say, like, well, like, how are you supposed to take,
but isn't that
take
what
away
you
your
say?
kid's dream?
But what else can you say if your kid mopped you up in marbles? You're like, what do you say? Like, well, we been very like, no, you're like, I couldn't as a dad.
Marble tic-tac-toe. It's fine. Do you know how many games of tic-tac-toe I've lost on purpose?
You better than my dad. My dad never lost a game of tic-tac-toe. Ask me how I know. Mop me up for years, decades.
He's such a sweetheart, Kurt. I feel like he is not going to. After we heard his story, we feel like we know him. I can't imagine that he would take his daughter out of the game.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Because why we signing up for this to be like, let me throw it to my child? Like, stop doing it. If y'all gonna go on the show to throw
stop being partners and stuff.
Right, yeah, for sure. Leanne was not throwing the game for Trey, okay? We got to be more like Leanne.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that's super exciting from Marbles, but it was really a bunch of nobodies. It was fun. I watched these episodes and then I went back and I watched that, and then the people that sort of developed later on, you got to see who they were beating out, but really those were the people that we focused on for Marbles.
Well, we do lose some of the people that we had kind of like smaller storylines from in the first portion of the game. Like for instance, randomly Marcus the Raven loses, and we had just like in the last episode with Mingle, he was becoming such a big part of the storyline. And then between him and Peter, it was like they were two of the front runners as far as like screen time goes in the later parts, and now they're both gone. So it's kind of like they built up enough people that we could lose a couple and really feel it, but then they also kept along some people that we knew or built storylines for newer people. So this is kind of like the emergence of the poker player Steven. We get a little bit more Isaiah. He wins his round. But we also, this is where we see kind of like the Melissa start to develop, and Vanessa from BB Can. number 17.
Because I was not aware of that until just now.
Yeah, well, I remember in our first podcast, I said that random lady with the curly hair is everywhere. And I was like, oh yeah, that's, random lady with the curly hair. Well, the people in the comments were like, y'all don't remember Vanessa from BB Can 8? I was like, nobody remembers BB Can 8, and neither does Vanessa because she hasn't mentioned it on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was not part of her story. Why wouldn't they mention that?
I think it's like she knows ain't nobody watch it. She like, yeah, I was on Big Brother Canada. I didn't lose per se. I mean, it just kind of ended. I mean, I think she did technically lose, but the show doesn't have a winner. So
how was she doing? Was she like in a good spot to win the Big Brother 8?
I mean, I think she just like ran out of time, so I don't know if she was in a good spot. Honestly, don't ask me, but she didn't lose. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she didn't get evicted. So maybe she's still playing deep down.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about what happens after Marble. So we come back, we're down to only the top 22. And now this is, I felt like the first time we come out of Marbles is like, all right, now we are starting to have like, this is like a reality show cast, like 22 people.
22 people. It's solid. You can work with these people. And we know some of them have relationships or alliances at this point. And so we come to know many of them, and we get to see how they interact now that there's like enough for them to all kind of like focus on each other, right? So 22 players left with over $4 million in the pot. It's about to get real.
We start to meet Faith, who ultimately we know is going to go out in what is the game? The present game? What do they call
Trust?
That?
I don't know. I called it Trust. The name of the episode was Trust. That's what I called it.
Yeah. Who I think it might be a bigger figure in her death than actually in what she did in the game.
I liked what we saw from Faith in the first batch of episodes. She was the one when I think it was, don't get me lying, but one of the people was like, "Oh, I'm crying. I'm so sad. I don't want to eliminate anybody." I think it was John T. And she's the one who looked at John T and said, "No, you're not. You're not sad. You
that was
like,
Faith?
bro, yeah, I think that was Faith." She's like, "What are you talking about?" And everybody was like, "Yeah, girl. I said, did you notice that?" Not the most strategic, doing that, because that would definitely put a target on your back, but definitely a character that we got to see. And then, like I said, this is where her arc kind of ends, where we find out that she's Lil Faith. She was named after her mom. She has come from a tough background. She's got a really thick skin. But when it's time for her to decide who to pick the president for, she does select the right person, and she gets eliminated.
Okay. So Faith and Daja and Perla, they have a group that we're going to spend a lot of time with in this batch of episodes. But in the meantime, it's going to be time for the next test of character, pick 3 people to be the monitors. Okay. We need monitors in the Squid Game dorm.
Yeah.
Would you volunteer to be a monitor?
I'm not volunteering for anything in Squid Game. This is not me. This is not me. If I played Squid Game, my goal would be to either have all the screen time or none of the screen time. Like, I want to be like at the end where you're like, "Who is that guy?" I'm like, "It's me, Chappell, just in Final 5. We don't know how I got here, but no one's killed me. No one wants to, that kind of thing." But here, there was definitely some volunteers. I think right now they're feeling like it's 22 people and everybody needs an edge.
Yeah. And we need to pick our 3 people to be monitor. And we very quickly decide, okay, these 3 people seem good, but we have old number 98, the baseball player, the New York Mets fan, police officer. He says, "Hey, I volunteer as tribute. Pick me."
When he beats Peter in Marbles, Peter's final words to him were like, "Hey, chill, you're very competitive, but kind of laid low." And I don't think 98 knows how to do that. He's like, "That's not really how I get down." So he's trying to get an advantage, because I think he's looking around and realizing he doesn't have a lot of allies right now. I think his actions in the catch game, and him being a little bit more boisterous than some of the other people, really kind of made him stand out. And so while he's volunteering, they're all trying to kind of casually exclude him from the number. He's like, "Hey, I want to be a monitor." And they're like, "Yeah, but we already voted." He's like, "But I didn't vote." He's like, "Yeah, do you want to play rock, paper, scissors?" They're like, "No, we just don't want you in it. We just don't want it to be you." And so he goes and pouts in his bed.
It was so funny because they had very clearly selected the 3. He's like, no, I said play rock, paper, scissors. They're like, no, we're not doing that. He's like, "No,
we're not doing it.
But we should." No.
But I should be a monitor.
That's not right. They said to vote. They said to pick. Yeah, I didn't agree to the pick.
If there's 22 people here, you are number 22 on the list of people who will be the monitor. They're not picking you. It's just not happening.
It was so funny that he went into his bed.
Well, he goes into his bed, and this is where he makes his big mistake. So they already are not a fan of you, but then I guess he decides at that point, like, "I'm too angry." And look, I get this. When I get emotional, I have to separate myself from everybody because I don't want to hurt anybody, feelings wise, And so and I don't, because I get crazy, and so I have to go remove myself. And so I got that he did that, but it's a social game. These people are going to start eliminating people who they deem as a threat. They deem that are coming for them, or that they're just not that close to. And since you don't have any allies, going to get in your bed now and not having more allies, and then looking at these people almost like you resent them, it's just going to give them more fuel to say, "All right, we should get rid of you." And that's pretty much what happens.
Yeah. And so as he was in his bed, we see that the monitors get beautiful, bright pink, magenta bedding.
Yeah. They were, it's like they saw how hard Steven took it and were like, "Turn that up." And so they're like, "Ooh, Steven." Oh, well, no, that's not his name. He's not Steven.
Matthew.
Steven's a poker player. Matthew. They're like, "Ooh, Matthew. Look at that. They got comforters. They got duvets over there. And now one of y'all has to make up the bed for them." I was like, "Oh, please make Matthew do it. Make Matthew make up the bed." And then the next morning they get breakfast and orange juice. Trinity's over there shaking, because
he loves orange juice.
Yeah, he loves orange juice. But yeah, they really prop these monitors up to where I guess it's supposed to create some type of ire from the rest of the people. But in the monitor's defense, y'all selected them. You didn't have to pick them.
Yeah. Okay, so here are the monitors. They get this badge. I was asking my kids, did they do this in Squid Game, the real Squid Game? He's
No,
like, no, they didn't have
no,
monitors. This is new.
no. They made this up. A matter
Yeah,
of fact, all of this is made up. The after marbles, everything that you see is new information as far as I'm concerned.
yeah. Okay, so they have to pick 3 people to put at risk. Okay, they have to decide who they're going to go with, and so they end up landing on 437. They say that nobody likes him.
He's not well connected. I actually think, and I might be wrong, but I think he's the one who August picked as his avatar in that one in the catch game, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd have to go back to my notes from last
There's
week.
so many of them. It's hard to know, but I think I've seen him before.
Kareem, that does sound familiar.
Yeah, Kareem. That's who August picked in the catch game, and he caught the ball.
Okay, Kareem, he is a 24-year-old gym owner from Australia, and his fun fact is that he was born missing 6 teeth.
Wow, dang!
I mean, I was born missing all my teeth.
I will say I don't remember having any teeth when I was born, but go Kareem.
Here's Kareem. Okay, all right. Then we also end up picking for this 417. He doesn't have any people, they said.
Greg, he's nice, but that's all. Just nice.
Yeah, 417. I'm trying to scroll back to him.
Got so many.
Yeah, he ultimately is going to be the guy that says it needs to be best 2 out of 3, and that's going to be a costly mistake for Greg.
Yeah, they're like, you can go. And then of course, they have to find one last person, and who should they choose but the person who is the least happy about them having this monitor role in the first place? Our guy Matthew, number 98.
Yeah. Okay. And so here we go, and that the game is going to be that you go into the room with the black box, and it's a sacrifice game. Here's the 3 new people and the monitors, and one person has to take off their number, put it into the box, and then take one for the team so that the other 2 people may live.
I'm an awful person. This type of thing would only just like, I would be the person who's like, there's nothing you can do. There's like, there's nothing you can do. There's like, I'm just going to stand here. Like, y'all figure it out amongst yourself. You two decide. Figure it out. I think they did that in Beast Game as well, where it's like they put the people in a little cubicle, and they're like, one of you has to like handcuff yourself to the cubicle so the other person will walk out. Have fun. And I think it was 3 of them. And so this is the same kind of concept, right? Where it's like, it's 3 of you. One of you has to take one for the team. The other people will die, but the other 2 in your group will live. And you have to decide out who that is. And now I like how they figured it out. They just both played a game. They basically just rock, paper, scissors, and were like, whoever loses, loses. But in Beast Game, if I'm not mistaken, the guy who lost in Beast Game, he just like refused to do it anyway. He was like, no. It's just like,
I think that there were lots of people that were doing it. I think that in Beast Games, I feel like that there was a mechanism of you can have anything you want in the room to help you decide. And then there were a bunch of people that were just like, no, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, but like, I mean, there's a guy who literally loses the game that they do, right? They do like rock, paper, scissors. They're like, you lost. And he goes, I don't care. Like,
right.
I'm not beholden to the rules.
What I liked about this was that the built-in factor of, okay, well, and whoever gets to the decision first will then get to kill the other team. And so if you're dilly-dallying, like that guy would have gotten the whole room killed.
Basically, but like he was gonna die anyway, right? So it's kind of like you gotta. For me, I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. And this wouldn't affect me at all. So we get our monitors, who I believe are Max, Isaiah, and Mama Kate, versus our newly dead people, 437, Greg, and 98, Matthew.
Yeah, and Kate is very quickly taken out of consideration because she has kids. We're going to hear more about Kate's story later on, as she's going to go pretty far. But it's between Max and Isaiah.
Yeah, and so they do their Rochambeau, and Isaiah wins. Max, who we have never met before, who we just found out about when he became a monitor, is the person who will sacrifice himself, and he barely gets to do it because it looked like him and
who knows how close it was to put the number.
In. You think it was movie magic? I think it was a photo finish, right? This other guy got ready to sacrifice himself, but it was too late. And
if it was anything like the photo finish and shuffleboard, it was like, well, not that close.
Not that close. It's fine.
So, all right. Max ends up pushing his thing in, and really, I guess the big headline is that 098 is eliminated.
Yeah.
What a run
crazy.
for Matthew.
It was. Do I see Matthew getting the votes to come back for next season? Absolutely not.
I don't think so.
But I think that it's a good run. I think that he got content in both batches of episodes where there are plenty of people who are going to be at a watch party.
You need people that are not afraid to make you feel something on the Squid Game.
Absolutely. I would want Matthew on other reality shows. You know, like we don't have like.
What do you want to see him on?
I don't know, but when he reminds me of like those early Big Brother players, the ones who come in and they're like, I'm in charge. Yeah, like Cappy. Yeah, like he come in and I'm in charge. And you're like, you can't just be in charge. And they're like, but why? Because I am in charge. You know, like I like that. I like that he's not afraid to, you know, crack a few eggs.
Hard to see Matthew winning a reality show ever, but you definitely could see him creating fireworks on any show he's on.
The thing about characters like Matthew is that, yeah, it'd be hard for them to win, but if they did, it'd be incredible. You know, like the journey to get there would be so wild. And so, yeah, I'd love to see him on TV again. It probably won't be Squid Game though.
Right. You and I were talking yesterday on the Survivor podcast about how Survivor used to cast people for one of three buckets of either that they were there for humor, they were there because they brought sex appeal, or they were there because they brought conflict. And Matthew was a 10 out of 10 in terms of a reality TV show contestant that's going to bring conflict.
Yeah, every time they showed Matthew, they showed somebody being like, I don't like that guy.
He fought with the twins. He fought with like about being the monitor. He like got into like all sorts of dust ups during his time in the Squid Game.
Yeah, we need reality TV characters, and so I'm not gonna besmirch anybody from being a little combative. If it's a game for $456 million or whatever, let's do it.
Okay. Fight. All right. So Max is gone. We need a new third hall monitor, and this is really when we're gonna see Isaiah fly a little too close to the sun. Of course, Isaiah. He had a big arc in last week's batch of episodes where he was in the Russian nesting doll, and then that he then gave it to, and I don't remember the woman that he got into it with, that she thought he was too nice. He got the birthday cake, and he gave the cake to everybody. He was a beloved figure, seemingly, in the Squid Game dorm.
Well, at least in part one. In the first drop, yeah, we didn't hear a lot of negative things about Isaiah, but by the time we got down to these 22, I think everybody's getting on everybody's nerves. I think heroes were born in the first drop, and then we came into some villain arcs because, again, Isaiah, seemingly nice guy. Every time he leaves a room, someone's like, so when are we getting Isaiah out? Because this guy, like, it starts off with like, yeah, how are we going to beat him? He's so nice. No one's going to target him. Then it becomes, he feels a little entitled to me. Like he's supposed to be here. Like he thinks that he's already won this. And then he goes and makes what I think is the biggest blunder of the game so far.
Okay. So Isaiah, what's his background? I'm looking, he's a security officer. He is a 30-year-old person. He is a recording artist, producer, engineer, and DJ, according to the Netflix website. And I don't know. I kind of feel like if I could see Isaiah like on Big Brother, I could see him running the house.
Yeah, but again, it would be the same kind of vibe as like most of the people who are like in that archetype, like the alpha male vibe of like, no, I'm really nice and I'm running the house. But about halfway through, people are like, yeah, but is he really nice? You know what I'm saying? Or is he just in charge? And, you know, we've seen that work out for people, but we've also seen that not work out for people. But hopefully he learned a lesson from Squid Game, the challenge, because why would you go to people? I'll let us get there. I have a rant for Isaiah.
Okay. All right. So here he is, 410, and he says, okay, we need to pick the new hall monitor, and we're going to go with his number neighbor, 409, Claire, is going to be the person Isaiah picks to be the third new monitor.
Yes. And originally, Claire is like, okay, I'm the third monitor, but I also have a responsibility, because they go to her and they say, the one thing that comes with being the third monitor is you get a coin. It's worth 10 coins, and 10 coins will allow you to eliminate somebody. They tell her this on the low because they don't want her catching heat for this. Very kind thing to do. Hey, go eliminate somebody sneakily. But Claire's trying to figure out who to kill. And, you know, before she can land on somebody concrete, Isaiah wakes up and decides to torch his whole game.
Yeah. He tells Kate and Claire, his fellow monitors, he's like, hey, just so you know, we've come for this far. I'm not a backstabber. I'll stab you in the front. I'm not messing around anymore. We're too close to the money. I'm going for it.
The time for sparing has come to an end. The days of me looking out for y'all is over. I can't keep saving and saving. We're not friends. We're all acquaintances. He just handed her the bullets and the gun.
Why did he do this?
Why did he do this? Why are you like this? What are you doing? I was livid. This is the death you see coming a mile away. First of all, the people, like the show was telegraphing that the people were already kind of getting a little tired of the Isaiah storyline.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you gave Claire the bullets. And then the next day you woke up and said, and if you don't kill me, I might kill you. Well, I mean, if we're not going to be a team, I might as well kill you. And that she does.
Do you think any part of this was like a pep talk do you think that maybe Claire was getting cold feet and Isaiah was really like trying to pump her up of like, hey, this is Squid Game, baby. You gotta really be ready to do anything. You gotta go in there. You gotta make the big moves. Come on.
But why would you give that pep talk? You are the big move. It's you. You know, you're the problem. You I will say this.
Well, maybe she didn't want to do it. Maybe she was like, oh, I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, then you should be saying, this is Squid Game. Do the small move. You know, like me, you, the monitors, we all need to stick together. Let's just take out somebody who's not really tied to people. Like, you could have tried to steer this away, but he said, no, everybody's an option, including me.
I'm really trying to look at this from a charitable lens from Isaiah's eyes.
Because I'm fed up.
Do you think that maybe there was he was trying to push her into taking out somebody that she's like, no, I can't. Not that person. That person's my friend. And maybe that's why he gives her this speech. And then ultimately she's like, listen, well, that's it. I've had enough of this. I'm taking out you.
I mean, hopefully there's somewhere that's like left on the cutting room floor, because that's not what we see. We see him wake up and say, you know, I woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. You know, I'm in this for myself. I'm ready to take the reins. I'm like, oh no. Because I would have never guessed that you would go and tell her like, it's like you told somebody your alliance is off. You know, like, it's like, all right, man, just so you know, we don't have an alliance. You're free to do whatever you want to do, because I'm going to do whatever I want to do. She's like, interesting. That's crazy that you would say that you are no longer working with me and we're down to the final 20 people. Cool, bet. Let's go make a big move. She kills him and he's like, that was cowardly. I'm like, no, it's not. That's the move. That is the only move on the table. Why wouldn't she attack? You just came to her and said, you're on my hit list as of all these other people, when you could have said, we will be the final two. We will never turn on each other. It's the monitors versus all. This was bad. This was bad, Isaiah. Didn't love it.
Didn't love it. So she goes into the vending machine and she ends up going with picking somebody that was a big threat. 410 is eliminated. I thought that he maybe might have survived this because he did not. Out of every other person that we saw die on this, their pack explodes. He walked out of the room.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yes.
I wasn't paying attention. I just assumed they shot him like everybody else.
I wonder if maybe was like his thing defective, that they escorted him out of the room and
carried him out.
He was like, this was a snake move. And he left. He like walked out like it was like a Big Brother eviction.
Oh, so you thought like maybe they were going to bring him back. See, I just assumed he was dead and moved on. And I think
he must have been dead because he never comes back. But it was weird that he's the one person that he didn't get the
explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I missed it. I missed the gunshot. Maybe he's number one to come back for Squid Game season 3.
Perhaps. I mean, I think a lot of people probably he'll get some votes.
Yeah, he'll get some votes. I definitely will see that people will not like the way that he went out. But to the people who are not a fan of how Isaiah went out, I will say, do not tell people, do not give someone the tool to kill you and then be like, hey, this is an individual game. We're not saving each other. Like, no, this person who's not saving you has the ability to kill you right now. You should be like, we are saving each other, at least until she doesn't have the power to take out one person from the game.
Let's talk about our next game. We've got our slides and ladders coming up. And so let's kick it off where we have Claire and Kate, the two remaining monitors. They're going to assign the teams to everybody.
Yeah, they put everybody in pairs and teams in different colors. And then, we kind of hear Kate's thought process, how she wants to save the people she's close to and has a good relationship, like 318, like who has kids, like Vanessa from BB Can 8. And then that leaves us with 346 getting left out of the bunch. Then he will go and swap with Trinity, who has just slowly been making his way through the game, and will then get a free pass from this next game of shoots and ladders. Slides and ladders.
So, yeah, I thought Trinity was going to get the chance to pick somebody else to take their spot. Maybe that's what he thought also. Instead, no, we just leave him alone. He does not get the thing like August ended up getting, or the other guys from last week. Who was the Australian guy?
Jonty and August. Yeah, they had to pick someone.
Bet on one of the people to see if they got through. Yeah, he just got like a fast pass.
Look at him. Again, my type of energy. I don't want to play the games. Just like if I could just go to the next round, that would be great.
Yeah. And so he's going to be back in a little bit, Trinity, but let's get into slides and ladders. And it gets pretty contentious in slides and ladders.
Yeah, I like that it got contentious, but I don't agree with some of the some of the disputes that they were having. There were definitely moments where I'm like, no, from a game perspective, this makes sense. Maybe a delivery is bad, but I see what's happening here. But I like it. I like it. Slides and ladders is here to divide these teams, to make them, hinder each other in the game. And then if you survive, you might have some harsh feelings for each other in the next round. So it really worked out. I think this just was built in tension in a way that, like, I don't know. I feel like the bridge isn't like that. I feel like the bridge crossing that is like, it's you. I feel like if you cross the bridge, I feel like
the bridge definitely had a lot of tension in terms of like the people that they needed to go and they wouldn't go, and then Trey had to go.
No, so my thing with the bridge is that if you survive the bridge, you're probably like, hey, I made some good choices that got me across the bridge. I'm now on the other side. We can let bygones be bygones, because there's not much you could have done. Like the person who backstabbed Trey is the person who just decided they weren't going to go. But here, these people are actively sabotaging each other because the game requires them to do it. And so if you survive, you're like, I ain't forgot you sit me down that ladder, or up that ladder. I ain't forgot that you put me at the back of the pack or down the slide, or you eliminated my homegirl. I feel like this was better, and just kind of like making sure that when we got to the final 8, they weren't friends. It's the final 8, but these people, they got a little beef between them after this game.
Can we talk through some of the games just now that we've seen just about all of them so far? So I feel like in season 2, the game, my game review, I think that my least favorite was the 6-legged pentathlon.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very long game. But I think there were some funny moments that came from it. Like,
funny moments for sure, but it really did not create a lot of animosity.
The animosity was happening within the same team, right? So it's like, you cannot do the cards. You're pissing me off because you can't do the cards. And then we died because you can't do the cards. So now we never see it. Yeah, exactly.
I like lingering animosity. I thought the catch was very good. I thought that created a lot of exciting moments, a lot of like great back and forth, one-on-one dramatic moments out of that. Then Mingle gave us great moments in the, like, when it was on. There wasn't seemingly a lot of like hard feelings that came out of Mingle. It was like, I think if there were hard feelings, they died there.
They killed them. Yeah, they killed them. That's the problem with the game so far, is that when they have an issue with somebody, the game kind of cleans it up. Like the pentathlon, like it cleans it up. Mingle, they were like excommunicating people and locking them out for having tension with everybody else. Like, we don't like, it was Natalie. They were like, we don't like Natalie. We're gonna make sure she doesn't make it to the next round. We don't like the twin. He's connected to that other guy. We're gonna make sure he doesn't make it to the next round. So we move on happily as a family. Here, we're like, no, 6 teams are gonna make it through, and we don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen at the expense of other people. And then they have to just go on to the next game, which is a game of trust. And so, yeah, it's like, to go from that to a game of trust, it's like, yeah, I actually don't trust you anymore. I did, but now that we played the shoots and ladders, not a fan.
Yeah. And marbles, I feel like this time around was there were some emotional moments that came out of it, but wasn't nearly enough fighting between the two people. I'm not doing that. That's not fair. Like, that's not what happened. I want more fighting and animosity.
Yeah, yeah. We want these people. So
Am
I'm
I a
saying,
bad person?
no, they're bad people for doing the Squid Game. You know, if you
Hmm.
watch Squid Game proper, the bad people are in the game, and the system that is allowing us to watch the Squid Game is also bad. But we are good. We're not actively participating. We're just watching the thing that our Netflix subscription pays for. You know,
Yes. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're good.
Well, I do feel like that the Squid Game, The Challenge, is a show, and we're going to have some interviews with some of the contestants, specifically some of the people that we knew from the world of RHAP who participated in this. And one of those people is going to be contestant number 100, Mark, who really painted this as a very positive experience. And I think there's really two ways to look at this, where I think that Squid Game, the actual narrative show, is presented with like a very pessimistic lens. But
Mhm.
I think that there is like a lot of optimism that comes out of the Squid Game, The Challenge.
Which is weird because Squid Game in and of itself is supposed to be like a story about like why we shouldn't be putting ourselves in situations like this, right? Like why
Hmm.
capitalism is bad, how like the elite rich people look down on people who are fighting to change their lives. The Mr. Beasts of the world, no disrespect to him, have all this money, and then they get to say, okay, now you go compete for it at the price of other people, at the price of your character, at the price of humanity, and then we'll all just do it again, and we'll do it again, and we'll do it again, and we'll do it again because it makes money and it's entertaining to the people who have the money. And so for that, for that being the case, you do watch this show and you hear these good stories, these like stories of triumph, stories of growth, stories of like where these people come from, and you really do have a lot of hope for them. But once the game is over, they don't have any money. They like there is no hope. But we're about to interview player 100, and he has the same amount of money he had before he went on the show. He did not get a Star Wars wedding, not to spoil the show, but like he didn't. He lost,
Yeah.
you know. And so it's like it feel good to root for them, but only one will win.
But the narrative show is rather dystopian
Very dark.
and very dark and very depressing mirror of many of the problems of the society. But it does feel like that Squid Game, The Challenge. And while there is conflict, that I do think that there is this shared experience among the players, and that these people who form these bonds in there and they end up like meeting a person and seeing something in a
Yeah.
person, and then other people are seeing things in themselves, that there is this like connection that comes out of the participation in the show, and some of these like human interest stories that we get out of all of this. And even if you didn't win the money, it's like, so what? You did get the story out there.
Yes. The problem is I guess I'll say the difference between the show, the original show, and this reality TV show is that these people don't die.
They don't die.
Yeah, they go through these moments, they sacrifice themselves, they sacrifice other people, they do all these things, they have these connections, they go through this trauma, and then they get out and they can like heal from it together as a family. 456 people in a fraternity of like, hey, we all did this same thing, and nobody else in the world except for the first 456 people will be able to know how this feels. Whereas in the show, you dead. You dead.
Mhm.
Only like one person, one or two people have ever like quite made it out, you know, and then even
Mhm.
then they were kind of screwed up. So, you know, yeah, not the same, but it feels a little bit different for sure.
Okay. So we end up with a team of two of the people that have been big characters so far. It's Perla and Zoe are together. They are the yellow team, and they are ending up, they go second behind the red team, which is Steven. And I don't know who Steven's partner was.
Yeah, well, he's dead. So there's
He's
that.
gone.
Yeah.
Kevin, I think his name was Kevin,
He
402.
yeah. We saw one Kevin sighting, I think, in the first batch. And Kevin is going to say that with Steven and Mama Kate, they're the three musketeers, and that he has a pretty decent shot of winning the game at this point. He does not realize that the first card that Perla and Zoe are going to get is going to basically send Steven and Kevin down separate ladders, one leading to someone's definite doom, in a way that is not necessarily required for all the
Mhm.
ladders. I mean, sorry, shoots and slides. So yeah, for coming out the gate, we get one of you will not survive this, and it's up to Perla and Zoe to decide which team has to deal with that. And sadly, it was Kevin's demise.
Yeah, and we're going to start to get to a situation where there's really not going to be a ton of men that are going to be left. I think there's going to be certainly more at the start of this game than ultimately who end up coming through. We don't know that Trinity has made it through. So at the end of this game, it's going to seem like that there's only 2 men left in the competition with 8 women. And so that's going to be a big part of the story moving forward. But yeah, for this first blow was struck between the yellow team and Steven, and this will really dominate the rest of slides and ladders.
It's a social game, right? So the red team is out there, and then the yellow team goes, and they're looking around and saying, okay, well, we have to essentially kill one person right now. And which pair will we put in that position to randomly select, of the 2 of them, one of them will randomly die. And they look at the rest of the squads and they're like, well, the only team we're really not cool with is the red team. Like each of them had people they wanted to save and didn't want to lose from the other teams. The red team was already on the board. They said, we're not that close with you, so it's got to be you. And the red team did not take this well. Steven wants revenge.
But Steven, I thought, played this poorly, where I think that you have to, okay, they got you, and it's like, hey, no big deal. What are you going to do? And I guess there is a little bit of a risk that they could say, like, listen, he's already mad at us. Let's just go. Sorry, Steven, got to go for it again. Maybe that he's thinking if I just really project that I will be unforgiving, they won't come back and F with me anymore. But that is not what happens. They actually are incentivized to F with him even more because of the like death stare, evil eye that he keeps giving to Perla and Zoe.
Yeah, this wasn't strategic. This was all emotional. This is all Steven being like, I'm mad. You targeted me. It could have been me. You took out one of my musketeers. I don't like that. And so y'all are going to know that I'm coming for you. That is bad. That is bad strategy, because if we know you're coming for us, why wouldn't we attack you the next time we get a chance? And the next time and the next time. And so he does eventually get his revenge, and he relishes in it. He really does enjoy like being able to be like, I got your back. But Perla doesn't like this at all. She's like, you was throwing negative energy our way. It was bad energy. I don't like that.
Yeah, so he has to pick one team to go to any unused slide. One person has to go down one side. One person has to go down the other side. And so we end this episode. Good on Zoe for getting 2 cliffhangers in Squid Game.
Well, that's the thing. Zoe and Perla did not have to go down separate slides. But they had to choose somebody to go down first. Essentially, had Zoe gone down the correct slide, Perla could have followed her down that same slide. The only ones who were forced to separate were the red team, and I think that's why Steven took it so hard.
Got it. So I thought they had to go down. Each had to go down one, and you were instantly going to lose somebody.
No, Zoe said, you know what? Perla's been having a good gut feeling this whole time. She's rolled a couple 6s, which is the best thing you can do in this dice game. They let you go again. I trust her. I trust her instincts. She said, let's go left. I'm going left. She went left. She died.
Yeah. Okay. So what a run for Zoe.
What a run for Zoe. But then also, here's the tension we're looking for, right? Perla took that very personally. She said it was petty. Now, I will say this. I think that Steven made the correct move. You are supposed to go after the people who came after you. You don't want to make more enemies. You don't want to piss anybody else off. And quite frankly, that they did it to you. You can do it back. It's fine. But it's the energy behind it, right? Like this death stares and like kind of like relishing in their death a little bit, like trying to get back on them. Because when Perla and Zoe did it, it was kind of like, we're just not that close to you. It's like, what do you want us to do? With him, he's like, no, I have one option, and it's you, and I'm coming for you. And so they didn't like that.
Right. And that he needs to be like, well, listen, I don't take any pleasure in this, but you guys got me. So I don't want to get another team mad at me. And so that's the only reason why I have to do it. But no, he loved it. And Perla is not somebody I think you want to get on her bad side.
No, she does not like this at all. And well, things will get worse for Perla. Throughout this, I was very shocked that
I can't believe she made it through. Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about luck? Perla came up, because there were definitely moments where I was like, she would get all the way to the top You know, she had Deja and her and the other girl looking out for it. It's come up here with us, girl. We got you. And then they sent her right back on down when she rolled a one and hit that wrong shoot. She's down at the bottom again. Yeah, it was getting tough, and she was making enemies because Mama Kate doesn't like her either by the time this is over.
Okay. We have Mackenzie, who lost her partner. Mackenzie is going down a million slides.
Yeah, well, she doesn't make it. You know,
She doesn't make it.
We kind of meet Mackenzie on that. But yeah, the other real tension is really just like when it comes down to basically being a race, there are these moments where Perla has to like choose somebody to send all the way to the beginning of the game. And she ends up choosing the team with Mama Kate on it, with 327. And because they had an advantage, they had I could skip a slide advantage. And so she felt like that was the fairest way to go about it. And she was like, oh, really? Go take food out of my son's mouth? You're gonna damn my son to hell? I was like, hey, no, it wasn't that intense, but it was very, yeah, it was very good because she's like, wow. I think she said like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, I'll tell that to my son.
Yeah, and her son has some sort of very serious medical condition, and so she talked a lot about that and her story. Kate is partners with 412, who we're going to see a lot in the present game.
Yeah, who we never saw before, but we got a little AJ here.
She gets a bit of a run in the present game.
Yeah, so yeah, Perla is the last team essentially to make it through to this round. Everybody manages to work their way through, but when she finally makes it through, she's very relieved, and I was happy too because these other people, we didn't really know them.
Okay, the show picks this point really to also introduce us to player 302 Daja, who ends up being a close friend of Perla in these last couple episodes.
Yeah, this is the arrival of Deja, and it's kind of like, well, I don't know. Listen, she never says her name, but I that's what I just went with. But yeah, 302, she shows up here and she's like, hey, I'm good with Perla. I'm good with my partner. Her partner doesn't make it, but she does. And she's very happy that Perla makes it too. She tells us that she's a secret cop. She's like, hey, no one knows this, but I'm a police officer. And through these next episodes, she will really start to become like a big figure and a possible winner contender as she makes it to the final five.
Yeah. I really like her as a winner of the game because I feel like that she has a real skill set she's got this great ability to read people. There's going to be a moment we'll talk about where she knows that 183 put the present on Faith's desk and she doesn't say anything because she doesn't want to alienate herself. And she's very smart about the game. She has good social reads. She seems to be a pretty likable person. She does like mess with 183 quite a bit also after that game. Put her on the Traders next.
Yeah, she's good. She's good. Good TV. Good TV from her. No notes. I as I have a lot of issues with some of the things people were doing, I could nitpick a little bit that just like she does have this superpower and it feels like now that it's down to 8 people, she wants people to know about it. You know, like she's kind of calling people out. And we love that. Again, we reality TV people, we're looking for conflict. And I think that if you keep her around enough, she's going to stir some up too. So very happy to see her making it so far.
Okay. All right. Steven, ultimately solo, he makes it all the way through. It's going to get down to really Mackenzie and this orange team are not going to get through.
Yeah, poor one out for them. Vanessa also makes it to the end. Vanessa from BB Can 8, who we have to talk about. Is like, you know, maybe being on Big Brother Canada 8 for half a season was like beneficial to her in the Squid Game.
Yeah. Who was her partner? I don't even know.
I think they were dead by this time. By the time she makes it through, I think she makes it through alone.
All right. So we come out of our slides and ladders game, and now we're down to, it's only 10 people left, seemingly. Trinity is also still there, so there will be 11.
Yeah. Good for Trinity. He gets the pass straight through, and he doesn't piss anybody off because a lot of these people are now coming through, and alliances are forming. You know, Deja and Perla and Faith are all kind of like a crew at this point, or at least it's Faith and Deja, and she's trying to bring in Perla as almost like a third. Trinity doesn't seemingly have an alliance. Neither does Vanessa from BB Can 8, but we do have Steven and Mama Kate who are tied together tightly. I think also AJ, who worked with Kate in Shoots and Ladders, also is kind of good with them. So it's all starting to form. You know, as Taryn would say, the house is starting to to form, the house structure.
Tiny movements. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a structure. There's one other man that is in the dorm here with Steven. This is Chris. He's 318. He has 3 kids. Are they all daughters?
I think so. It sounds like it. It sounds like he's a girl dad.
Yeah. Girl dad seems like a great guy. He does not tell any lies that we know of, and seems like somebody else who is very much here doing it for his family.
Well, he took offense that that Kate would be like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna take this food." You know, like, "You did tell that to my son." You know, he was like, "You don't see me guilting people over my kids." And then in the very next game, he will then go guilt people over his kids.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about kids, if you have them, makes sense why Eric might have lied about having kids, because it
Smart
seemed like
move.
something people like, okay, well, I can't eliminate that person. They have kids.
Yeah, I mean, smart move, especially if their kid has some type of, medical condition or something like that. It's gonna keep you around a lot longer. Not to say that people are going in using that as a tool, but it don't hurt.
Let's talk about our circle of trust game of we're giving away presents and you have to guess the person. Although our group was not very good at all in guessing who is giving out the presents.
Yeah, did anybody get a
No.
correct answer? Not one person.
I think we went 0 for 5.
Well, good on the people who did the selecting then. They were either very
It's mostly
convincing.
Steven and 412.
They did a lot of damage in that one, especially Steven. But yeah, I think the strategy here is a lot of things, right? It's, do you choose somebody who is close to you, who would never select you, but also now you're burning one of your friends or a possible ally in the future, or do you pick somebody who maybe you want to take out of the game, but who might be on to you and easily select you? And all these people cooked. No notes for the people who made it through.
The thing is that we were talking about how Steven handled his business poorly and ended up antagonizing Perla, and they had a whole back and forth. But really, that conflict kind of ended up being a little bit of, as Shannon Gus might say, implicit immunity for Perla here in this competition, where Steven was afraid to put the present ever on her desk. And probably if Perla might have put it on his desk, but like having like such an obvious feud was the type of thing where you wouldn't dare put the gift on their desk because they'd say, it was definitely Chappell.
Yeah, but then you have somebody. Let's say Deja wanted to make a cutthroat move here. She puts it on Perla's desk. Perla's gonna look directly at Steven immediately. She's like,
you could
"What do you mean,
certainly
girl?"
get framed
Yeah,
easily.
you could get framed. Yeah, but no, I think you're right. I think a lot of people didn't want to pick anybody that they had obvious beef with. And I don't know if that's a great strategy either, because I think obvious beef, at least one of you has to go. And I think having your biggest opt out of the game at your own hands, like, I know it's a tough risk to take, but like, if you leave them in the game, they're going to try to kill you. So like, I'd rather take out somebody who I know who is not going to work with me, as opposed to like somebody who would work with me, but would never guess me in a second.
But the players who got targeted, I don't think really, other than Faith, none of them, I think, were even named characters.
Yeah. Faith was the next. Oh no, we lost Melissa. This is where we lose.
True.
This is where we lose Melissa, and this is why Eric's lie will die with her. But yeah, you're right. We lost a lot of the kind of like people that were newer. We lost AJ. We lose a few of them that we didn't really know well. But I think one of the standouts obviously is Steven in this moment, because he goes multiple times, and his move is, he's going to pick people who are less likely to choose him based on their relationship with him. And then when they get in front of him, he's always going to say the same thing. He says, "I wouldn't do that to you." Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Oh, okay. I kind of could believe that. Like, why he wouldn't take me out. That wouldn't make sense." Yeah. But we have people like Deja, like, wait a minute, he might take you out.
I'd love to talk a little bit about Steven and his body language here in this, because a lot was made of it from Deja talking about trying to read Steven. And I thought that he's a poker player. He must be very aware of what his body language is. He was very much doing some like traditional things that you would associate with being deceptive or having some tendencies of hiding the truth. Or he did a lot of beard play and like fidgeting and touching his face and his hands on his mouth. And typically those are things that you would look to as things that were being, okay, this is somebody who's being very deceptive, but was he doing that on purpose in the moments more so but it seemed like he was doing it also when he actually was lying.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like if you do it all the time, you don't have a baseline.
You don't have a tell. It's not a tell if you always do it.
Yeah, exactly. We even saw a little bit of that in the marbles when he was they were doing like the guess your hand, whichever hand the marble is in. And he was like, I'm just gonna keep doing goofy stuff so she can never really get a read on me. And I mean, it seemingly worked out, and it worked out here too. No, the only person who's really two people that were really onto him were Perla and Deja. They're both like they almost stopped Faith from making the wrong decision, and like you could tell Deja was like, I want to say it. I want to say it's Steven. I know I'm right, but if I am wrong, I'm gonna feel really bad because I just took out my best friend, and then it's gonna look like I'm targeting him or something like that, and he might be coming after me. So she couldn't do it, and Faith ends up being one of Steven's victims.
Yeah. How great would it have been though if she would have called it out?
And she clocked it, yeah. But then at that point, I'm like, okay, all eyes on Deja. She gotta go. You know, like
now she's like too big of a threat.
She's too big. She's too big of a threat. If she's the only one who helped somebody get their person out, yeah, like that's crazy. You want to talk about poker faces? My boy Trinity. It's like he didn't move the entire time. Like he just was like this the entire time. No, he never got a box. He never needed to choose anybody, and he was just stoic the whole time. Like I think they were afraid to pick Trinity.
Maybe.
They did pick him one time, I think, and they were wrong.
Yeah. I liked how Chris, the other guy who was there, I liked how he handled it where he got up and walked around and really like interrogated everybody. I mean, you have all the time in the world, seemingly.
Yeah, and again, his whole spiel when Kate was upset was, how could you use your kids to guilt somebody? Like that thing's outside the bounds of the game. And then he says, let me tell you a story about my kids. And I'm like, oh yeah, because he's trying to get a read.
The worst day.
Yeah, the best day and the worst day. He was trying to get a read on them. It did not work. We lost Chris. I thought he might make it through.
Okay. 412 was somebody who was very active in this game. She ended up putting the present on two different people's desk, but finally she gets it once again. We find out that it was Steven who did it. Again. She has to decide between that if she thinks it's either Trinity or Steven. She ends up picking Trinity. And that's when she's out, we find out that Steven was the person who did it. Even though he's going to admit to one of his murders, he won't admit to that one.
Yeah, he said, I wouldn't do that to you. And she was like, yeah, Trinity might, but he wouldn't. And so she went with Trinity. Yeah. And then later on, that when after the game is over, because it just ends abruptly, everybody does not get to put the present on someone's desk.
It just kind of stops. People.
Yeah, and so they're like, all right, it's over. And immediately, Deja's like, hey, I never moved. Perla says, I never moved. And he says, I moved once. And she goes, oh, was it Faith? He's like, yes, it was Faith. And so kind of confirming her suspicions that she can't trust him.
Yeah, the episode 8 was entitled Faith.
Yeah, I thought there would be more about Faith.
I thought there'd be a little bit more about Faith in terms of like, okay, he killed Faith. That's it. We're coming for him. But not yet. Not yet. Even though all these characters are still alive heading into the endgame, Steven and Perla and Deja, they are going to be 3 of the final 5. So maybe Faith's spirit still lives.
Yeah, maybe she's doing it for Faith.
Okay. All right. So we're seeing more about Perla and Deja, that they're really talking about how they do not trust Steven whatsoever. It's a little big brother in here, right?
Yeah, it's and you can see the teams kind of dividing up. You have Kate, who is working closely with Steven, Deja, who's working closely with Perla, and then Trinity and Vanessa, who are seemingly floaters.
Yeah. So Vanessa, I feel like for the first time that I can remember, we get her backstory a little bit about her dad and how that he was a lobster fisher. And he said, you can't be a lobster fisher.
This is the most Canadian story. Yeah, this is the most Canadian story of all time. Like, I just wanted to be a fisherman like my old man, but he wouldn't let me because I'm a girl. So I just kept fishing until he finally, let up. And now I get to fish in the family business. I was happy for her. I like the story, but I really don't think, I think narratively, we haven't got enough of Vanessa to think that she could actually win the game. If she were to win, they would really need to lean in on the next episode of making her a viable option. Because right now, Like, I mean, I could see people rooting for Vanessa, but this was her first real confessional.
Yeah. Of the 5 people left, I think that she has gotten the least of the story.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Steven will reveal to Kate about how not only is he a poker player, but his backstory, he was deeply in debt. He had a girlfriend that ran up his credit card bills. He won some money. He paid it off. And then he was in a tournament and he came in second for $6.5 million. And I think that Kate was under the impression, like many of us, oh, this is a hard luck story for Steven of how he was this close to $6.5 million when we find out, no, that was second prize.
That was second prize. He said, well, I took home less, after taxes. But yeah, 6.5, basically. Like, you could have just told her the less number. Telling her $6.5 million is wild. Why would you say that to this woman? I get that there's like a benefit to having an alliance, but people have been given the opportunity to just X people off the board so easily. That woman could just go in the other room and say, he has $6.5 million, and now everybody's guns are pointed at you. I did not understand this, but luckily for him, Kate dies too.
Yeah. Kate will take this secret to her grave. All right. She's still alive here. We're going to see Trinity also, a little bit more about him. Trinity's hoping that he can change the world with his appearance on Squid Game.
Trinity could win Squid Game and get voted in for next season. The Trinity content is so wholesome. He's like, yeah, I grew up not having a lot. I love orange juice. I just want to buy a year supply of orange juice. I want to suffer for other people who can't suffer for themselves, who can't handle it, because I've gone through so much and I'm strong like that. Like, get this man another show right now. Put him on TLC. What else does Trinity do? I think that there are some people who can make a run for this second chance in part 1. But if Trinity is the RHAP goddess here and goes out in second place or third place, pencil Trinity in. He might have my vote.
Here's a little bit of Trinity's bio. He's 25. His occupation is retail. He's from Missouri. And his fun fact is, I was only born with 1.5 lungs. Who was his doctor? Jeremy Collins?
That's actually very funny. Why
he's a good lung, but
yeah, but the 1.5 lungs is wild. It's like they haven't said that on TV yet. They still have some more Trinity story to talk about.
That's what I'm saying. Next week.
How can you not bring that up? This man, Trinity, throughout, I will say this, throughout, from episode 1, we've got Trinity content. When the twins were acting weird, Trinity was the one that cut to it, was like, I don't know about the twins. Like, he's gotten a little bit in every episode. If you're doing a winner's edit, I think it might be my boy Trinity here. And if he loses, I think it would be fitting for Squid Game 1, but I also think he might be our returner.
Okay. All right. You ready to talk about Shuffleboard?
Sure. Quick conversation about Shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard, yeah. I feel like we were talking about all the games. I do feel like that this was a little weak sauce, I thought, Shuffleboard.
Yeah, this reminds me of like the Jack in the Box.
It was like, very Big Brother. Yeah,
really a challenge. It's just like, go do something real quick. We got to get one person out. They do divide into 2 different heats. You have Perla, Deja, and Trinity on one side, Vanessa with Steven and Kate on the other side.
Can I also say that Shuffleboard, I feel like, has been a reality TV staple as a competition for 25 years. Has not really delivered like amazing results.
Never. Okay, so like when they did it in Survivor, when you get the people knocking people's pieces out of the way and stuff like that, that's like the best you could ever get from Shuffleboard. Other than that,
Butch totally foobarred it for like, we had it all set up, and then he knocked Jenna Maraska into. I think I was going to win immunity.
I think you were going to win immunity. You knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, and it's like, but I think for the viewer, it's like, who cares? Shuffleboard.
Right. It's the cheapest game to play.
They did it one time in Tokens. It was like pouring rain. It wasn't even working. They do it on Big Brother constantly.
Free. You could just grab the nearest object and say slide it, and now all of a sudden you have a Shuffleboard game. So yeah, they did it. This was ghetto. This was just a red line and some hockey pucks. They said go for it.
Okay. We end up looking like that we're going to have a very close photo finish between Trinity and Kate. It turned out that when we got the overhead shot, it was not that close.
I thought it looked close.
It was close-ish.
Yeah. Trinity wins by a hair. Photo finish.
Yeah. Okay. So congratulations to Trinity. I thought Kate had winner upside, but she is also out.
Yeah. This is tough.
Put the tuxedos on now.
We got tuxes. This is like it's like the day 39 dinner. It's like like we fought or breakfast or whatever. It's like that's what they have now. They've made it to this.
They did have like this is very much like in Squid Game. They had like I think it was like a final 3 dinner in the one that I watched.
Yeah, and so now we have these last 5 people. Is it down to 5? Yeah, we have the last 5 people, and they're going to go wear these tuxedos. They're going to play another game. They're probably going to feed them well. They always do that in Squid Game. That's consistent. And then we will find out who our winner is next week.
Yeah. Okay, so I really like they teased a little bit of what's coming next, that the final game is going to be red light, green light.
I don't know that. So
what do you mean?
Demon Sarah Beth has appeared in Squid Game multiple times, and it's not always red light, green light. The first time it was red light, green light. The second time it was jump rope. So you
think it's gonna be jump rope?
I don't, but I think they're gonna use her for maybe something else. I think doing red light, green light at this point is a little boring. I think.
You think so? I think that could be really exciting because that somebody could be out in front, but they could get got at any point.
But all of them could just win. Or is it just a race?
I think it's just maybe a race. I think that like if they get down to like 4 people for red light, green light, that could be. I mean, that's definitely gonna be better than rock, paper, scissors.
I just think it's like it's less entertaining if no one moves, right? Like if everybody is racing but no one gets shot, and just the first 4 people cross the finish line, and there's no like.
No, I need the first person who crossed the finish line is the winner.
That's what I'm saying. But if no one gets shot in the meantime, what are we watching? Them just like standing there?
I think it would be an exciting way. I think it would be tense. I think it'd be tense for like all the marbles, like because if you're behind, it's like okay, now you got to really move.
You got to move, yeah. I mean, look, I think the stakes will be high enough, but I think for me the novelty of red light, green light is just that like people are dropping like flies.
I like the juxtaposition of they instead of starting with it to end with it.
They could end with it. Yeah. They don't bring back. They do bring back red light, green light for season 2 of Squid Game, but it's very early on. It's very early on, like something like the intro game. But jump rope was really one that took people out. It was kind of like in that spot where the bridge was. So it's a little too late to be doing jump rope too.
Chappell, give me your winner pick.
I'm picking Trinity. I gotta go with Trinity, man. Because I think that it's a feel good story. Now, I will say this: if he doesn't win, I think that's also a really cool story because you gave us somebody so precious that you just snatched them away from us in the last minute, and that's like the Squid Game feel that I enjoy. Is like that you thought they had it, and then they died. So yeah, rooting for Trinity.
All right. I'm about to change my Twitter handle.
Oh,
next week you could find me at rooting for Deja.
Hey, okay, let's see about it. Things might be weird. She's my mother. She's dope. She is dope. I still think if I had to rank them, I put in Perla above Deja. Just because we saw much more of her. We saw Perla in the first act.
But I think she's such a big character. I think how could you not show so much Perla? She doesn't have to win to show her. She's like a standout character who has been so vocal. Like you couldn't hide her if you wanted to.
If Perla dies,
plus she had a like biological relationship also. I mean, it would be a dream for the Squid Game producers to have somebody come in with a relationship who comes in who's so vocal all the way through to come in and win. I mean, I think that they couldn't dream of having a better person to win.
It's gonna sting if she loses though, like because we've connected. Perla's like one of the standouts, It's like I feel like everybody's connected to Perla a little bit, and so that's gonna suck. Steven win would be quite interesting, and honestly, I think I would love to see it. I feel like a big character, right? One that's probably a little bit more divisive. Or of course the obvious sleeper pick here, Vanessa. What a story, coming back from BB Can 8 to win Squid Game. I could see it.
Yeah. Okay. Chappell, any other thoughts on week 2 of Squid Game, the challenge?
No. It was good. It was good, but it's really up to week 3 to end the season the correct way, right? Because the season 1, Netflix will love you. This is nothing but Netflix. If anybody love you, I love you. But let me tell you something. Rock, paper, scissors is not it. That ain't it. Sorry.
That was
not
it.
Ain't it. Do something
Yeah, I
else.
really enjoyed the first half of season 1, and then I kind of felt like it sort of like went out with a whimper. I have not felt that way through season 2. I've really enjoyed it, and I feel like it's stayed consistent all the way through.
We shall see if they stick the landing.
We'll see if they stick the landing. Unlike so many of the people going down the slide, we will find out. So we will have for you this week, we're working on tracking down some Squid Game The Challenge interviews for you here on the Nothing But Netflix feed. So be sure to check that out. Next week, we will be back on Tuesday night to wrap up Squid Game, The Challenge, Season 2. Chappell, what else is coming up for you?
People, if you're listening to Squid Game coverage here, make sure you come back, because after we're done, we're going to be talking about Nobody Wants This. Shannon and I will be talking about season 2 of Nobody Wants This here on Nothing But Netflix. We had such a great conversation about season 1. I cannot wait to talk to my friend Shannon about it right here on Nothing But Netflix. So make sure you subscribe and follow us on social media at Nothing But RHAP and let us know what we should be talking about on Netflix.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments. Take care. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.